welcome back to another video. Today we are going to be touching on the ego and the higher self. I feel like this video was very necessary right now for the simple fact that the ego has been so strong and so present lately, all over YouTube, all over Instagram, all over Facebook and Twitter and everything else. Becoming aware of the ego and the voice of it could allow you to be your true authentic self. Because remember, you are a soul inhabiting a body, not a body who has a soul. So with the ego and getting to know the ego begins forming in infancy and is the basis of your self-image and personality. We created this protective mechanism because it acts like a flight or fight response, created to protect the body and guide the spirit, pretty much. Now, the ego is not something that is bad to have. Everyone has an ego. It is here for a reason, again. But the problem with the ego is that it can become toxic and tainted depending upon the influences that are around us. And it becomes such a problem that it doesn't allow our higher self's voice to really show and be heard. Everything requires balance, but it is definitely smart to allow your higher selves to lead you through this lifetime. When your ego suppresses your true essence, it becomes detrimental to everything around you and the experience that you came here to have. When you solely identify and live solely within your ego, its perception becomes your reality. So in order to overcome your ego and let it take a seat back, you need to be able to identify how you are being egotistical, how is your ego leading, how you are unbalanced, and overall need to be able to distinguish between the two. So how to know whether your higher self or your ego is leading you? First, we are going to talk about fear. The ego is fueled by fear, doubt, and paranoia, while the higher self is trusting, knowing, and has faith within itself and the infinite possibilities of the universe. So if you are experiencing or have experienced shame, doubt, embarrassment, desperation, guilt, etc., you are hearing the voice of the ego. In those moments, it becomes or feels unsupported and threatened by certain obstacles thinking or believing where they can't be overcame, while your higher self's voice will reassure you that you have every tool that you need to overcome an obstacle. The higher self understands that whether good or bad, every experience is for the soul's evolution, and it simply believes in itself. Number 2, how you know that you are living solely in your ego. The ego is attached to the material and physical world. It values itself off worldly possessions, people, and status. When your true highest self knows that if you were to lose everything today, material-wise, people-wise, that you can pretty much think of, self is still of value. Soul originally comes from a non-physical world. So it should not be attached to anything physical, because you cannot take what goes on in this life to your next. Even memory-wise, you don't take your memories from this life to your next. Subconsciously you do, in a sense, but basically practicing non-attachment. Not to say that if you have nice things and you're egotistical and you're living solely in your ego and stuff like that, because a lot of people like to attack other people when they have nice things and be like, oh, you're so egotistical, when some people simply just enjoy nice things. But as long as you don't allow those things to define you, define who you are, make you feel a value of something, your mind and your spirit, then honestly there is no problem with having nice things. And you who are even saying something about it, that is a form of your ego being overly judgmental. Ego definitely breeds haterism, and I feel like people are like, well, I'm not being a hater, I'm just calling it how I see it. You're being a hater, and that is your ego speaking. Your original points, being attached to certain things, even people get attached to people. That is of the ego. A lot of people feel like, especially in relationships, if they break up, they feel like their world is over, and they're just losing themselves and basically they feel less than because they don't have that other person validating them, or doesn't have that other person has that person anymore. When the higher self is thankful for the experience that it has had with that person, and understands that all energy is connected and we are energy, and whenever you want to tap into that energy that that person made you feel or vibrate on, you can do so. Number 3, the ego highlights limitations and keep you in a box of identity you have created for yourself. If you view yourself as just a title, you leave no room for expansion, and the higher self is all about expansion. We see this with mothers a lot. They are super stuck in mommy mode. They don't know how to be anything other than a mom when they become one. They neglect their wife roles, they neglect their friendship roles, they neglect their own personal self-care roles, and oftentimes feel super guilty for doing anything that does not involve their children. Like, I know personally for me, that was something that I used to struggle with a lot, thinking I can't do this or I can't do that because I'm a mom now. Moms don't do this. Just completely putting yourself in a box, and that is completely not healthy, and that is completely of the ego. We are supposed to be gods and goddesses of many names, be as infinite as the universe. We cannot exist in this box. When we exist in a box, we make ourselves extremely unhappy and extremely depressed. And that's where a lot of postpartum and stuff like that come from. Number 4, the ego is loud. It is bad-tempered. It is argumentative. It is uncooperative. It is a physical sensation that makes your jaws tighten and your muscles tighten. Always looking for a fight or something to debate and argue about. Making unnecessary comments, saying unnecessary things, passing judgment on yourself, on everybody else. Just being super critical of everything, and just have something negative to say, pretty much. While the higher self is gentle, it is soft, it listens, it's wise and familiar. The ego is selfish and self-centered, only caring about the self and its needs and not being considerate of the whole. And this is not to confuse with living for others, but you can live for yourself with being considerate of the whole. If you want something in life, you don't go and slit someone's throat to get what you want. When the higher self thinks of the long range of impact that it has on itself and those around and the world around it. Number 6, the ego is very defensive. It cannot take being wrong. It cannot take feeling like somebody is attacking. It cannot take being rejected. It cannot take someone saying no. That is a sign of a toxic, egotistical person. There has been a lot of stuff going on via social media of women rejecting men, and men feeling like they need to either harm them, beat them. A guy, I seen one time a guy went to his car to go shoot up the place because a bunch of women basically told him no. They're out having dinner and stuff like that. So that is a sign of a toxic ego, and you guys really need to get out of your ego. Your ego should not be that bruised to where if someone simply tells you no, they do not want to experience a certain thing with you, you should not feel obligated and so possessive that you need to hurt them and stop their experience and their life experience because you can't take the thought of no. We have become too comfortable living in our ego. We have become too comfortable passing things that are not normal as normal, and we honestly need to get a reality check and start checking ourselves and checking those around us who are egotistical, because some people honestly do need a person to come up and say, hey, this is not right, this is not what you should do, or this is not how you should behave. You are living too much in your ego. Honestly, you should welcome and not be so defensive with people making you aware of yourself. We need to heal every inch of ourselves, our femininity, our masculinity, our ego, our childhood traumas. Start loving ourselves. And with that, we could reach enlightenment. We could reach a higher state and be consistent in our higher selves. In doing so will make the world a better place. Imagine if people took accountability for everything that they do, every behavior that they have, just completely becoming more aware and conscious of your ego will allow you to be a better human being, be a more advanced soul. So again, I hope that this video helped you at least be more mindful and be more aware of your ego and how you could be living in your ego. Allow this video to help you transform and be conscious of your behavior, of your unconscious behavior. So make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure you join the gang because we are going to be doing more healing videos. I'm going to try to put together a meditation video for you guys, like a guided meditation video. Do a lot of videos that are self-improving. So see you guys later. Peace.